Welcome. I'm Dana Citron, Vice President of Orbital Fire Cybersecurity, and I am so happy to welcome you to the Women Leaders in Manufacturing podcast hosted by LIMAP, Long Island Manufacturing Extension Partnership, with its Executive Director, Amy Erickson. I am so pleased today to be here with Teresa Ferraro, who's invited me into East West Industries offices. It's so exciting to actually be here and to see your facilities. It's very impressive, and welcome.
Thank you so much, Dana. It's truly my pleasure and my honor to be part of this podcast.
We're very excited. So as we get started, can you start off by telling us a little bit about East West Industries?
Absolutely. So East West Industries is a woman-owned small business right here in Ronkonkoma, Long Island. We manufacture life support and ground support equipment for the military. We've been in business for over 55 years, working strong and making sure that we have our men and women serving in the military come home safely to their families. And that's our guiding tenet.
I love that. And so you've been with East West Industries for over 40 years.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that journey, and what was it like stepping into something with such a strong family legacy?
Oh, well, thank you. So, yes, my parents started East West in 1968. My father was a degreed engineer. My mom had a banking and finance background. My father was never in the military, but always worked on oxygen components for the military. And, they always said when they started the business, like this was their dream, this was their baby to start, and truly they were visionaries for what would be with East West. But they said to their three children to go out and go to college, find out what your dream and your passion was, and kind of soul search and do that. So what I did was, after I graduated from Adelphi University, I was in the business and banking and finance area myself, not loving the interviews I was going on. And my father had said to me one day, I need some fillers in the office, and I'd like you to come in to be a filler. And I, just out of college, I'm like, okay, what's a filler? He said, well, very important people are coming in, and I want to be able to show them that East West at that time was, had a staff behind them, and they were probably only about 30 people at that time. And what I didn't realize was it was a pilot and co-pilot that had ejected from an aircraft and came back to thank the men and women that helped bring them home safely. So that truly was the turning moment for myself. And I had said to my father, I want to join East West. He said the most important thing to me, give me your business plan of what you can bring to East West that you learned in college. Because he knew, East West, engineering, manufacturing for the military, male dominated, male dominated, male dominated, and I'm the boss's daughter. So he was really setting me up to, my entry into East West was really to bring value and make sure that the employees knew what value. So I started, in the 80s, it was called personnel and not human resources. So I started the personnel department. But what was very key about that was it gave me the opportunity to work side by side with a lot of the team and the employees within the company, not in any kind of threatening way that the boss's daughter was overlooking them, but more of, tell me about your job. Tell me how you do your job so I can, hire the best people for you and you can advance within the company. So it gave me a really good insight of what the company was all about and really starting that entryway into it. So, that's how I began at East West over 40 years ago.
I love it. And I love how it sounds like just from the very beginning, your parents started this with a focus continually on what the end goal was.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Our guiding tenet has always been saving aircrew lives is our first concern. And truly that is most important.
And so with such a critical, when you focus on such critical life-saving functions that you create, how does that influence your leadership style?
So one of the things is the passion I bring to the business. Really, it starts from top down, and that's really most important. But what we also focus on is hiring our veterans when they transition from military life to civilian life. A lot of them left for the military in a very different world that they're returning to. But more importantly, they bring a lot of value to the products that we do. They've used them, they've touched them, they've seen them. So when you give them jobs, it's kind of giving back. They feel that they're giving back to their brothers and sisters still serving in the military. But most important, they're bringing that value of this is how critical that our equipment is. It puts a face to a product.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and we've really focused a lot on that throughout our entire tenure.
So as we talk about the defense industry and bringing those military people back, how has the changes throughout that defense industry, what have you seen? What stayed the same? What's changed?
So, in my over 40 years, first of all, back in the 80s, the male to female ratio was tremendous. I would say it was probably, 20-1. I would, in my industry, when I would go into a meeting, there would certainly be, 20, 25 men to one woman. And whether that was in military meetings, if we were going to a base, whether it was even with all of the primes, the Boeings, the Sikorskys, the Northrop Grummans, we were definitely, women were definitely the minority in it. So it was a struggle to make sure that you had your presence there, you showed your value of what you were bringing to it. So in that way, I am so pleased now when I go to trade shows or meetings and conferences to see how many strong women, powerful, educated women are now in those high-ranking positions within the military, even with all our primes. It's great to see Northrop Grumman and Boeing and Lockheed having women in these high-level executive positions. So that has drastically changed. I'm glad about it.
I'm sure, absolutely. And it must give you, I know I've seen you speak. I know you have confidence in what you bring, but to be able to come into a room where you see others.
Absolutely. It's a little unnerving sometimes, but you grow to understand once you feel confident. And most importantly, I keep using this word passion. If you have passion for what you do, it really comes out when you speak.
Yeah. Oh, I have no doubt. And like I said, I've seen you speak. And so I see that whenever I hear you. Can you share a defining moment in your career that really shaped your leadership style?
Yeah. It's really funny that I can't say that there was one defining moment, but I truly had the wonderful experience to work side by side with my father for 30 years before he passed. So I would say throughout that time, there wasn't one defining moment. What made me who I am today is bringing back some of those ideas and tasks and how you treat people and how you want to cultivate and mentor. All of those defining moments were throughout that 30 years.
So did he stay on the business for, after you take on, how long was he involved through that?
I would say there was at least a 5-year period of when I was truly in a leadership role. So I could always speak to him, ask him, what do you think? Kind of my sounding board. Am I making the right decision? And he would always say, be clear, be confident, make that decision. You're going to make some mistakes, and that's okay. I say that all the time. That it doesn't mean you have to be right all the time. Make that decision. And listen, there's an eraser on a pencil for a reason. If not, you erase and move forward. But that helps you learn for the next time.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah. And that makes me wonder, what would your advice be for women that are really coming into the aerospace manufacturing industry? How would you kind of set them?
So it's so funny. So just this week, I had a local high school, an all-girl Catholic high school, Sacred Heart, my alma mater, come in. They have an emerging leaders program. And what this program is, students that have shown some leadership potential and capabilities and have been recommended by a guidance counselor, by an advisor, by a teacher, to say, come to visit some businesses that you can learn from. Now,
great opportunity.
I do this every year. And this year it was about 20 students that came in. And what I like to do is open it up and have them, first of all, get up, tell me their name, tell me what grade they're in, tell me if they have an aspiration or an idea of where they want to go. But I always start by saying, if you don't know, that's okay. You don't need to know when you're in high school, but use these leadership programs to help you be that sponge, absorb some of that knowledge. What I do is I usually bring some of my other employees. If it's female oriented, I'll bring a female engineer or someone from HR or from supply chain to come and tell them about their experience. And most of them here, those people that are in these positions were right where they were, didn't know what they wanted to do and how they developed into the position. So I love doing that. I love mentoring young women, young men. I say all the time, they're our future. One day we'll be looking around and they might be in a political office, or it's our job as owners of businesses, of educators, to expose the children to as much as we can. So
Oh,
yeah,
I love that.
I
And
really
it's great that you're able to have your alma mater come in
yes.
and be able to pay that
We
forward.
usually have at least 1 or 2 tours a month come through.
Wow.
So we have the Cradle of Aviation coming in with the STEM students next week.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy doing that because more than anything else, I'm not looking to recruit any of those. I just want to give them the knowledge that they can't get in the classroom. This is real knowledge.
Well, and this is really setting you up for a base that hopefully over time you're going to have,
Mhm.
the people looking out, the employees possibly to hire later. You want
Absolutely.
that kind of, I guess, feeder system, for
Mhm.
lack of a better term.
One of our interns last year, Haley, was actually a student in the Emerging Leaders Program about 5 years prior. She was in college and she said, I love the tour. I love what you did. I'm going into engineering. Can I intern? Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
So how do you intentionally build a company culture that really advances safety, innovation, and women's leadership
Mhm.
opportunities?
Well, first and foremost, you have to lead by example. I think that's the most important. It's great to say it. It's great to talk about it, but you have to live it. You have to do it and show. And I think that that's something that I really do well here. I don't ask someone to do something I wouldn't do. I want them to show whatever my passions are. Um, Communication, engagement with the employees. It makes them feel like they are part of the team, because that's really, my father would always say, your employees are your biggest asset. And that's what you want to do. You want to make sure and be visible to them, communicate, engage them to what their ideas are. When we moved into this building 8 years ago, that's what we found. I can't wait to take you on a quick tour.
I'm very, very excited.
But when you look at the facility, it was large, and we made sure we brought in a lot of lean and success principles to the business, but give that cell of employees, this is your home. Okay. How do you feel that you can work best with it? What works for you? What makes you work more efficiently? What tools do you need? That's the engagement that I mean, that it shows the employee that we have faith in them.
Yep.
Ultimately to provide the best product out there to the warfighter.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And you have such an important mission
Mhm.
that I can only imagine that everyone here really feels that responsibility to
Absolutely.
be able to.
Absolutely. We say, as I said earlier, our guiding tenet,
Yeah.
saving aircrew lives is our first concern. It truly is one of those, it's truly rewarding.
Mhm.
And when I go out to meetings or I meet someone, just recently I met Blue Angel number 7 at the Cradle of Aviation last year.
Wow.
The day before they did the air show, I had the ability to go to the Cradle of Aviation. They hosted them for dinner. We got to speak to them.
Yeah.
So rewarding that I met with all of them, but Blue Angel number 7, Lieutenant Connor O'Donnell. When I introduced myself, his response was, and I said, what's the matter? East West. And he said, I just used your equipment.
Oh.
And I said, oh my gosh, did you eject? He goes, I was in a high altitude mission and I needed to go to my emergency oxygen and I used it. And he quickly got some programs and he signed it. He goes, tell your employees, thank you. Thank you so much for what you do. And I came back here to tell the employees, and everyone had chills because everyone knows the Blue Angels, right?
I'm getting choked up just hearing the story.
And they were so thrilled
Wow.
that it really put that face to the product. And the next day, employees they were at that air show just with pride, and being able to bring their family, whether it's a spouse or children or grandchildren, look up and say, I do something on that aircraft. And that's manufactured right here. manufactured, assembled, tested, shipped right from our facility. So it really is very rewarding.
And something that you said, I know that you feel very strongly about being a Long Island company and it being here. Can you just talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. I mean, these are our roots. We were born and raised in Montauk. We have had, I've done 5 moves with East West in my 40
Wow.
plus years. But it was very important to be here. There is such a supply base. You know, Grumman was here for many years, right? There is a supply base that supported Grumman. Grumman left Long Island, but a lot of those suppliers and manufacturers are still here. So that is our supply base, because what makes us successful is making sure we have a local supply base. Can we get everything locally? Not, but it's certainly better. It's feeding that Long Island economy. And the town of Islip was wonderful when we were moving 8 years ago. They really said, you know, the IDA said, how do we keep a growing business like you on Long Island? And listen, real estate taxes are high,
Sure.
you know, so we really worked closely with the economic development department to say, we want to stay here. My family's here. My children are here. My grandchildren are here. I'm a Long Islander.
I love that. Now, looking ahead, do you predict any new trends or technologies that are going to impact the future of defense manufacturing and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's so funny. We talk about this all the time. AI and ML, machine learning, that's going to be the future, you know, and we need to embrace it. It's a little bit, you know, first when AI, you know, everyone's a little scared about it. But they're transforming manufacturing for smarter production, optimizing production and quality capabilities. That's going to be part of the future. So we need to be open-minded and cautiously look into these things. But I believe we're really going to see a lot of that in the future.
That's really exciting. And like you said, we're such at the tip of that. So it's exciting to see what that's going to look like and how you're going to be able to really adopt that.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
I guess on the front and back end.
Yeah.
Things, right? Okay. So when challenges arise in the defense business, how do you stay grounded?
So the biggest thing is keep a steady course. Keep a steady course. Know what your core values are, what you bring to the table. Listen, in over 40 years, I've seen ups and downs in business, ups and downs in the economy, getting hit with things that we never thought of, right? 5 years ago, who knew about COVID, you know? And you just need to keep that steady course, be grounded, follow through with integrity and what your core values are. It'll be tough if you have a team around you, like we've developed here. You'll be successful. You'll come through.
Oh, I love that. What do you think's been the most unexpected reward of your leadership journey over this period?
Well, if I think about over 40 years ago, East West was, you know, very small, you know, steady supplier. That was great. But now I look 40 years later, the recognition that we get from the primes, Boeing, Sikorsky, Northrop Grumman, Lockheed, they know who we are. The awards that we've received due to our on-time delivery, on our quality, on our production, and our affordable price. Listen, Long Island isn't the cheapest. So they always want to come back. And if they know they have a good product, you don't have to be the cheapest, but if you have that dependability. And the awards that we've received are just amazing. And most importantly, it's so interesting to see through our social media when we post something and one of the primes likes or comments it, you know they're watching.
It's huge.
And that's huge. And they might not be able to outwardly say something, but you know they're watching. But their recognition of East West, and probably most importantly, they want to come back to East West. We've performed well in a program. We've been successful. You know, unfortunately, there's been a lot of suppliers that can't keep up to the production levels. But we've been doing so well that they come back and say, can you help us with a legacy product that needs a change? Or we're coming up with a new aircraft. Can you help us design that seat or that oxygen system? It shows they have the faith in East West to perform successfully.
And just to know that you're getting in at the beginning.
Yes.
You
Some
can't ask for
great,
anything else,
great
right?
programs. So yeah.
Oh, well, I'm
Yeah.
excited. Well, Teresa, I know that you're a member of ADAPT
Hmm.
as I am, and
Hmm.
they are a very important organization
Yep.
for manufacturers in defense and aerospace in the area. And we really want to appreciate their support. I know that they have a women's group and that there's other women peers that you have there that you get
Absolutely.
to talk with on Long
And
Island.
sometimes it's good to share some of those, ideas, conflicts, whatever might be a little obstacle, or even if you need to be a mentor to somebody else that's coming into that in a leadership role is very important.
Love that. Well, thank you so much for spending time talking to
Dana,
me.
thank you
I'm
so
excited.
much. It was truly my pleasure, and I really appreciate you coming to East West. I can't wait to show you the
I was going to say,
facility.
let's go.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.